Hey, Tom Nelson here from the Outdoor Line with my good friend Eric Linde. We're going to get out of here and head right to the Outdoor Emporium Springer Seminar. One of the things we're going to talk about, Eric, and what we talked about on the show today on the tech line, was rigging these rotating flashers up right so they don't cost you fishing time. They do their job, they attract fish, but they don't take away from your fishing time.
Fishing time out.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
Yeah. So what do we need to do to rig these things up right now? I got mine rigged up not as tight as you do. Tell us why your setup is better than this when I got long leads ahead and I got a bunch of gear here. Show us what you do and show us how to get this thing straight.
Well, what we're doing is running a 50-pound braid, and braid's kind of a key deal in this because you can feel, it gets down in the water easier with 8 ounces of lead, and that's one other key is that you don't run real light leads and string them way behind the boat. You keep them right under your boat. I run a 12-inch piece of lead line on a slider for this slides on your main line. This is for my lead. It can't go up and get caught up into the flasher because the next piece of line here, this 40-pound big game that I've got right here, is 14 inches long, and then with the swivels, you're well away from being in the fish flash right here. Then again, we go to another piece of 40-pound to a swivel. This is a little Berkeley ball bearing swivel.
It is a ball bearing swivel too. I want to definitely point that out. It's small, but it's ball bearing.
I'm trying to get everything to rotate down there real easy. So we're swiveled here, bead chain, swivel, 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 and then we're to a 25-pound piece of Berkeley big game leader. The lighter leader enables, as we crash everything here, the lighter leader enables it to break off if it hangs up, so you don't lose all of this rigging and have to retie it all. It comes back to you.
And that's a big key. So you got a built-in fail point.
Yes.
You got a built-in fail point at your leader, because the thing of it is, if you're not fishing with your gear on a bottom during this downhill troll on the Columbia River, you're not fishing.
You're not fishing.
Yeah.
If this is the bottom of the river, we have 18 inches of water here that we need to fish in. This is where our baits need to be. And if you're not there, you're not getting bit, or you're not getting bit very often.
So the chances of your ball hanging up, slight. The chances of you hooking a leader on the bottom are pretty good. So if you got a fail point here, you're running 20 or 25 leader, you're going to bust off your stuff, you're going to reel the rest of this back, you got to tie one knot, and you're back in business.
The other deal here too is this flasher's an attractor. A lot of people want to get away from it. That's wrong. You want to keep your bait close to it. So we have a foot of 40-pound, 4 feet of 25-pound to your bait. We're 5 feet behind the flasher. And that's a great place to start right now. The water conditions are low and clear.
I want to point out one more thing with regard to the bead chain. One of the fail points with regard to the bead chain is sometimes weeds or something get wrapped up in here. You got this little protector over the top of the bead chain that lets that bead chain turn, but also protects it from getting fouled with weeds.
Exactly.
Because you can, even though you've got this shorter, you've got your lead drop shorter than your attractor. If that stops spinning, you'll wad things up as well.
Absolutely. One step more. A lot of people don't take this into account, but sometimes these ball bearing swivels lock up, and then you'll keep twisting leader after leader after leader. You can't figure it out. A drop of corrosion block on there brings your swivels back to life. So you have some troubles there.
And I mean, it's gotten to the point now where there's even the use of spreaders starting to break into this fishery, or maybe if not a complete spreader, a solid drop to the lead, okay? But by that we mean wire.
The beauty of it is that it can't possibly tangle up if you go to the spreader. The downside of it is that if you hook this with your lead ball in your net when you're netting the fish, chances are pretty good you're going to lose it because it's going to snap off. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll make this piece wire, then they'll make the dropper here with a swivel on it so it can slide on the deal, and you get the same effect.
Right, and these are more prevalent down at buoy 10. You really don't need this level of protection in the Springer fishery so much in the middle rivers you do down in those currents down at buoy 10.
I look at this Springer fishery as a finesse fishery. Buoy 10 is kind of just a hatchet meat fishery.
Industrial salmon fishing down at buoy 10.
A little bit better, not so critical.
That's it. Hope to see you guys at Outdoor Emporium today from 10 to 2, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the Outdoor Line's Last Cast right here on 710 ESPN Seattle.